Hi, Charisma. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. So I can see that attendees are still joining us. Let's wait for a few seconds to have all of them here.
Sure.
Well, I believe it's good to go now. Good evening, everyone. On behalf of Coast Mountain College and MSCare Media, I would like to welcome you all to the MSM Agent E-Summit Live Series for 2020. I'm Karishma Chaudhary, Manager Canada at MSCare Media. Coast Mountain College was known as Northwest Community College when it was established in 1975. It is a post-secondary institution that serves 34 communities across the northwest region of British Columbia, and 21 of these communities are First Nations. Coast Mountain provides an opportunity to students to study, work, and play in one of the most spectacular places on earth, which is rich in heritage and culture. It offers varied programs such as college access programs, health and human services program, university credit programs, trade foundation programs. It also offers online programs and innovative and flexible mobile training, reaching students beyond its campuses. CMTN, together with MSM, is happy to have you all here for an hour of ultimate knowledge-oriented session to help you boost your student recruitment practices. CMTN work closely with a carefully selected and approved group of agents and partners to achieve its goal of internationalization. So before we go to the next exciting part, I would like to let you know that we have shared a few handouts with you. You can find them in your control panel. Also, if you are having any questions, then please don't hesitate to drop it in the question section in your control panel. I know everyone is curious and interested to learn more about CMTN, its program offerings, its state-of-art facilities on campus, and of course, its welcoming local community. So without further ado, I would like to introduce Ms. Jieni Lim, International Recruitment Coordinator at CMTN. Jenny, over to you.
Awesome. Thanks, Charisma. Um, Everyone, even though I'm not able to see you, I'm hoping you can hear me and see me well. Again, my name is Jieni from Coast Mountain College. I'm the International Recruitment Coordinator from the International Recruitment Department. And I was an advisor, just a quick introduction about myself. I was an advisor before joining the recruitment coordination team. And I've been an advisor for almost 2.5 years in Coast Mountain College. And it has been a great journey. So I'm here to share about Coast Mountain College and some information with you and with your student, actually. So let's get started. So here is just a brief topics that what we're going to talk about. And of course, at the end of this sections, after all this tiny little topic, we're going to have a Q&A, a 15 minutes Q&A where you can ask questions. And just for your information, while we're going through the presentation, you will be able to ask questions as well. You can, again, you're not able to talk, but you're able to type your questions on the chat box. If you look at the panel, there is a chat box a symbol. You can pull it out and type your questions. While I'm presenting, our staff will be answering your questions. And then if there's more important questions or questions that we would like to find out more, we will be answering those at the end of the section. All right. So today we're just going to talk about a quick introduction about Canada and about our province. It's called British Columbia, BC. And also a quick update about COVID-19, which is one of the most concerning topic at this point. And also talk about where Coast Mountain College is actually located and why Coast Mountain College, the programs available for international applicants or international students, and our admission process, And it will also touch about immigration application as well, and some other immigration concern. And also our student support services and housing available for international student. And also I will have a brief like a table or chart about cost of living in Coast Mountain College. And then of course at the end will be the Q&A sections. Okay, without further ado, let's move on to the first slide here. So just a quick introduction about Canada. I'm not sure how much you hear about Canada. Maybe you heard about it a lot, and some of you not really familiar, but that's okay. I'm just going to have a kind of brief introduction where we're located. So we're located in North America. We are the continent or the country above the states, which is the United States. So we are considered the second largest country in the world. So we have a massive land here, surrounded by mountains, lakes, grassland. It's beautiful country here. And because we're at the border of the states, as you can see in the picture, we actually consider, I think we have the longest international border. I think it's close to 9,000 kilometers, which is like the border between Canada and the States. We have the longest border. And we have 10 provinces. And some of the province is huge. And we also have 3 territory. And again, the territory is pretty huge as well. According to Reader Digest Canada, we are 5 times bigger than Mexico and 3 times as big as India. And yeah, so we, yes, we are really huge. So we have 2 official languages, 2 official language in Canada, which is English and French. And I'm just going to show you where we located, which province we located. We're actually at the west side of Canada, which what we call west coast of Canada. So this is where we're located. This is the province that this is our province. And I'm just going to go on to the next slide to enlarge to show you how the province look like. So this is the province of BC. And if you can see, so there is numbering on the map. If you can see number 2, that's Lower Mainland. And I'm pretty sure many of you heard about Vancouver, which is Vancouver, BC. And Vancouver, BC is located in the Lower Mainland, which is number 2, if you can see that on the slide. And we're not located in Vancouver. And I'm just going to quickly show you where we're located. And before I move on to that, this picture is actually taken from the provincial government site. And for this province, British Columbia, in short, we just call it BC, is actually 8 times bigger than the UK. So we have a huge province, but we're not located at the Lower Mainland. We're located at the north side of British Columbia, so which is the Skeena region. If you can see the box on, like the red box, so that is the region where all our campuses located. I'm just going to show you, if I have this slide here to show you, yes. This is where we're located. Again, if you can see the enlarged picture there. So we have different campuses in Prince Rupert, which is by the coast. And then if you're moving on like inwards, inland, that will be Terrace, which is where our main campus is. And then if you move inwards again, that will be Smither. And of course, we have one campus at Haida Gwaii as well, which is an island. But at this point, we're not accepting international students in Haida Gwaii. The only 3 campuses we are accepting international students will be Prince Rupert, Terrace, and Smither at this point. All right. So before we get into more about who we are and where we are, I'm going to just give you a quick updates about COVID-19, and which is considered one of the most concerning issue and topic at this point. So I'm just going to show you here. So how does COVID-19 impact us? So for local community, again, like the essential service and functions such as healthcare, grocery stores, and some other essential services are still open right now. But the local community has been practicing social distancing. So which means people are lining up right now to get in the grocery store. There's limited number of people can get in the store, and in the store or in the clinic or hospital, we try to keep a distance from each other. But self-isolation is a must, especially if you're traveling from somewhere else in the country or traveling between province or even city. So you need to self-isolate yourself. And in terms of program and admissions, how COVID-19 has impacted us, of course, there is some changes in terms of our programs and admissions due to COVID-19. And here's just a quick update of what's going on. So most of our staff members right now are working from home. Even though we are working from home, but we're still actively supporting our students virtually, like through video conference, text, or phone. So our service is still going on. It's just that we're not on campus at this point due to social distancing. And many of you are wondering if we're still accepting September intake or even January 2021 intake. Yes, we are still accepting new applicants for September intake, which is September 2020 intake and January 2021 intake. Now, some courses have been deferred from September 2020 to January 2021, and we're going to talk about more in the later slides. But at this point, yes, we are still accepting. And there is no certain deadline for applying for programs. It's basically based on first come, first serve. So the moment, so basically if you apply first, you'll get it first if we still have seats. So our admissions department, who is processing your documents or evaluates your admissions, your entry, they're still working. They're still working as usual. They're still processing online application. And just for information, we no longer take paper application years ago. We only take online applications. And you can apply for the program if you got a programs that you're interested or your student got a programs that are of interest. They can actually apply it online on our website. So all classes, current classes, which is existing classes, have shifted to a distributed learning setting, which is online delivery method. So none of the student right now is on campus due to health and safety purposes. Many of them have switched to online courses, and all of them actually have switched to online courses. So in terms of English requirement or English proficiency tests, we do accept some online English tests, such as Duolingo or other online English programs that is approved by Coast Mountain College. And if you can see on the slide, I actually put out like Universal Learning Institution, which is located in Vancouver. If, say, for example, IELTS Center is closed or TOEFL Center is closed, you're not able to take your test at this point, we do accept some online English tests, which is offered by ULI or Duolingo. That's the two online course at this point that I'm aware that we accept as an English requirements. And we can talk about more later, and please post your questions if you have any questions about this as well on the chat box, or we can just talk about this at the Q&A section as well. So financial help or financial support. So Coast Mountain College do have emergency bursary for our student who are, you know, who needs more financial supports due to COVID-19. We do have some gift card available for grocery shopping. And that second thing is actually a fund, an emergency fund, which is CERB or EI, provided by our government under this condition. So under certain condition, if student, for example, got laid off from work due to COVID-19, under certain certain requirement, they're able to apply for emergency fund from our government. And in terms of study and work condition, according to IRCC, if students are taking online courses, it won't affect their PGWP, which is post-secondary work permit at this point. And of course, you can find this information online as well. As you know, originally, you will need to be in class section, not online courses, be in the face-to-face class section in order to get your post-graduation work permit. And because of this COVID-19 situation, IRCC, which is the Canadian Immigration, has made some flexibility in accepting online courses, and it will not affect student post-graduation work permit. And the second thing is, under circumstances, again, international students are temporarily allowed to work more than 20 hours per week, given if they work at the essential services. So originally in the past, international students are only allowed to work 20 hours per week if they enroll full-time and if they hold a valid study permit, and of course on their study permit actually stating that they're allowed to work. But because of this challenging situation right now due to COVID-19, the immigration actually allows students to work more than 20 hours, but only those who work in essential services or function like food supply, healthcare services, etc., etc. And you can find more of this information on their on IRCC website as well. And we actually share the handout with you. And at the last page of the handout is actually some information and link that you can link to this specific information. And biometrics. So biometric is basically the fingerprint process when you apply to come to Canada, apply for a study permit. You will need to go through biometric, which means you need to go and give your fingerprints to the federal government. And a lot of biometric centers are temporarily closed right now. I'm pretty sure some of them are open right now in some of the region, but not all. You will need to contact your local biometric center, which is also known as a visa application center as well. So for biometric, if student already receive a biometric letter asking them to go for, to give them biometric, and there is a automatic extensions on the biometric dates from 30 days. So originally it was 30 days, like within 30 days, you have to give your fingerprint, you have to go through biometric. But because of COVID-19, it has extended to 90 days automatically. You don't need to do anything. If your letter says, for example, you need to give your biometric by the end of, say, 31st of May, so the biometric deadline will automatically get extended 90 days instead of the 30 days. So 90 days from the deadline on the letters. So travel, in terms of travel, I'm pretty sure it happened globally. A lot of countries have limited travel allowed. Like there is just restriction on traveling. So same as Canada. So only certain group of people are allowed to enter Canada or travel to Canada, and non-essential travel is not allowed, whether within Canada or outside of Canada. It's not encouraged you to travel at this point. And I'm pretty sure in your region, similar implication is applied as well. So if you're traveling in Canada at this point, you will need to have, self-quarantine yourself or quarantine yourself for 14 days, even though you do not show any symptoms. Even though you're well, if you travel and enter Canada, you will need to, it's mandatory for you to keep, practice this 14 days quarantine or isolations. And before you board on the airplane to Canada, airline staff will actually do a health check, like a body check, so to make sure that you're actually health and wealthy to travel on board. And at this point, IRCC just came out with a new policy that everyone must wear a mask or a face cover when they're traveling to Canada or upon arrival in Canada. And failure to do so, there's penalty apply. And at this point, IRCC also continue to accept online application. Whether you apply for study permit, work permit, or extension, IRCC is still working remotely, even though their center is closed right now, but they're still working at the back office, basically. So these are the like a quick updates about how COVID-19 has impacted in different areas. And of course, just for information, which is really important, IRCC and even Coast Mountain College and or our provincial government or federal government has constant will be constantly update what's going on, because things is revolving or changing really quickly at this point due to COVID-19. So we're closely monitoring the situations, and there will be more updated information moving forward. All right, so I've shown you this slide where we located, and I'm just going to move on to the next slide to show you how our campus actually look like. So after the COVID-19 update, I'm just going to quickly show you where we located and how we look like. And I have got a lot of emails and inquiries about how your campus actually look like. And that's why I decided to pull out some pictures to show you how our campus actually look like. So this is our campus in the region. So if you can see all this picture here, the right top picture, that is our Terrace campus. And if you can see the left top picture, that is our Smither campus. And the left bottom is the Smither campus as well from the outside. And the right bottom is the Terrace campus. So this is where the lounge, where our cafe is. There's actually a mini coffee shop, like a cafe inside the building, if you can see it from here. So this is basically how our campus looks like. And this is the student event, and all these are our real photo, real life photo, and how it actually looks like on campus. We have different workshop activities, and you can see a group of people at the right bottom picture. That is our orientation day from last September, yes, and that is on the Terrace campus. And so, yes, this is some picture that I took during winter time. So as you know, we are located at Northwest region, so which is really northwest from Vancouver. So from our region, Northwest region, like Terrace, Smither, and Prince Rupert, is actually 1.5 hour flight from Vancouver. So we are at the north of Vancouver. It's 1.5 hours drive from, 1.5 hour flight from Vancouver. So we are colder. We have colder climates compared to Vancouver because we're closer. We're closer to the northern region. So winter can get crazy. If you can see the picture in the middle, like with the vehicle with a white car, that's actually my vehicle. During winter time, it can get crazy, right? But it is really beautiful. There's a lot of winter spot you can do, like snowshoeing, skiing, snowboarding, and etc., or even skating on the lake, on a frozen lake. So it's really beautiful during winter time. Climates can go really cold, like minus 20 or 20 something sometimes. Again, but not every day, right? So at a certain point in winter, it will get to really like a crazy climax, like minus 20 or 25. Yes, but we do have beautiful, oops, sorry. Just gonna go back again. So we do have beautiful summer here. This is again taken during summertime. It's really beautiful, gorgeous out there. And sometimes climax can go up to 30 or 32 during a hot summer. And again, this picture is actually taken at the local community. I'm just going to quickly let you know where this actually is. If you see the right top with all the boat and ship and all that, so that is actually Prince Rupert, because Prince Rupert is by the coast. So you can It's actually have a really beautiful ocean view. And the right bottom is actually Prince Rupert as well. And the two picture on the left, that is taken in Terrace. So the left bottom is actually the farmer market during summertime in Terrace. All right, so fall can be really pretty. So if you see the picture, the fall picture and the colorful picture at the left top, that is Terrace actually, is taken from the top view, like higher elevation view. So yeah, that is the city of Terrace. And those two, like a city view, is actually Smither, like a Smither city. So one of our campus is actually located in Smither, and one of the program offered in Smither is our business program, which we have quite a number of international students in that programs. All right, so why Coast Mountain College? Moving on to the next slide. So we actually have a smaller class size because we are a smaller community compared to Vancouver. Terrace, Prince Rupert, and Smithers actually consider smaller community. So people are more connected. Like people are connected in smaller community. So our class size at the college is considered smaller as well compared to big university. So I would say roughly 12 to 32 students in the class. So you can see that because we have a smaller class size, student and the instructor or professor is actually really close in contact. You can always see instructor and student actually at the hallway walking, going down for coffee and chatting. So they're like friends because we have smaller class size, and that's a good thing about smaller class size as well. And the other thing is there's higher rate of international students remain in the region after they complete their programs. I've worked with international students at Coast Mountain College for 2 or 3 years. Every time when I ask them, what is your plan after you graduate? Most of the feedback I got is, I want to stay here, or I want to remain in Terrace, or I want to remain in Prince Rupert. And because they got job opportunity up in the region as well. And it's reasonable cost of living and in the Northwest region compared to Vancouver, which is a bigger city. So we're a smaller town, so our cost of living is comparably lower than Vancouver as well. And of course, due to COVID-19, all classes have switched to online delivery mode, just for information. And we do offer on-campus housing as well. And we're going to talk more about this later on. All right, programs. Let's move on to programs. These are the programs actually available for international students. So we have diploma program, which most of our diploma program is 2 years diploma. And post-degree, our applied coastal ecology post-degree is actually a 1-year program. And business post-degree diploma is actually a 2 years program. And our certificate is actually 1 year. And our university credits program, you have an option of art or science, and that is 2 years as well. And we have a pre-business program, which is a 1 semester, like a 1 term, which is 4 months program. And so for diploma, let's back to the diploma programs. So for students who graduated from senior secondary school, which graduate from grade 12, and if they meet the admission requirements, they can actually apply for diploma. And for post-degree diploma, you actually need, or student actually needs to be graduate from grade 12 and need to meet the English requirements. And same as diploma, you need to meet the English requirement as well. But for post-degree, the only difference about post-degree is you need a bachelor degree for post-degree diploma, whether you're in post-degree business diploma or you're in post-degree applied coastal ecology diploma. So for certificate, again, it's a 1-year certificate. For university credits, it's a 2-year program. So basically you're taking 2 years with Coast Mountain College, and then you transfer to other institutions to further study to complete your bachelor degree. And pre-business program, that is a fairly new program, and we already have 2 cohort currently. So basically, if you don't meet the requirement for business and you really want to get into business program, either you don't meet the Math 11 grade, which is grade 11 math requirement, or you don't meet the English requirement, you can actually apply for post-business diploma. This is a prerequisite diploma to prepare you for the business program, whether business diploma or post-degree business diploma. All right. So university credits is considered one of the famous program for our international student. So basically, you take 2 years with Coast Mountain College, and you can transfer to the related field of study or program of study. So there's art and humanities, there's science and social science. So for example, if you're interested in bachelor degree in, for example, chemistry, right? Again, we do not have any program is in bachelor degree. And if you're not ready for bigger university, or you're not ready to start your program in Canada in a university, you can actually start with Coast Mountain College, taking 2 of your first year university. So for example, if you're interested in bachelor degree in chemistry, you can take associate degree in science, and then transfer it to the relevant university that you want to go to, and just transfer all the science credits or whatever credits that you take to the university to complete your bachelor degree. So this is just a chart to show you 2 years with us, 2 years to transfer to a partner university, and you can complete a bachelor degree. And these are some of the partner university that we work with. And most of the credits from university credits program is transferable. All right, so this is a unique feature in our college because we are located in a really beautiful region of British Columbia, and many of our classrooms actually take place beyond 4 classrooms, which we call experiential based learning. What does that mean? So that basically means that students got a chance to learn outside of classroom. They don't need to stay in a boring classroom. The instructor will take them outside of the classroom, and they can learn the real life experience outside of the classroom. And so, which we call as a field school. At the same time, you're able to gain credits towards your program. Usually it happens so field school usually happen during summertime, where, usually it's just 2 weeks program, when student can take the program and, count towards the entire programs or entire credits. I'm just going to quickly show you a video here. I'm just going to switch my screen. Just bear with me to show you our field school, some of the field school video that we have. Just 1 second here. All right.
Being that I've grown up in this area, getting out and being in it is super nice. It's where I spend most of my time when I'm not in class. So when I have class time in the outdoors as well, it just kind of like, I don't know, I feel really comfortable at home. It's not, sitting in a classroom under the fluorescents. All the instructors in the program are really great. They know their stuff, and they're super fun and easy to talk to, and being on a first name basis with them is great. Hydrology is a really awesome course. I would definitely recommend it to anyone who's interested. It's a lot of time outside, learning a lot of things about this area in particular. Classroom sizes at Coast Mountain College are like 30 students. So basically, it's a friendship with your professor. And then on top of that, all the time you get to spend outside, kind of like looking at the ecology of areas and things like that, and just like doing real field work and things that would be like entirely transferable to a job site, to a real world job site. It's pretty invaluable. It's something that you don't get otherwise. It kind of like eliminates that trial and fire period for your first job in that field. You're not trying to figure it out. on the spot. You have a pretty good idea of your systems for field notes and things like that to begin with.
All right. So I'm just gonna, I hope you can see my slide here. Just gonna go back again. All right, so that's basically our field school. It's actually the real life situation just to show you how field school actually look like. And it has been really a famous sections that student, especially our international student, are really interested in. And these are some field school that we offer in 2020 summer. And again, due to COVID-19, some of the field school has been canceled, but this moving forward for we do have future, like, further or upcoming field school for the next year as well. All right, so admissions process, which is one of the questions we get most of the time. So I'm just gonna basically quickly run through how the admission process look like. So basically, there is 3 letters. When you apply to Coast Mountain College, student will receive 3 letters from Coast Mountain College. So student will need to, first of all, student will need to apply online and pay a non-refundable application fee, which is $100 Canadian. And then, so it would take up to 10 working days for our admission officer to reach out to student. So what they will say is, we have got your applications and we need your documents. So then student will send in their documents, including English proficiency tests and senior secondary graduation certificate and all other documents that need to be handed in. So admission officer again will take up to 10 working days to evaluate all the documents to see if student meet the admission requirements. And once the student meet the admission requirement for the program that they apply, they will be conditionally qualified, which is step 5 on the slide. At this point, if students are conditionally qualified, which means they meet all the admission requirement, and now they're asked to pay a non-refundable tuition deposit of 7,000 Canadians. So this deposit actually covered the first semester tuition fee and all other expenses as well, including international healthcare insurance plan. And then after the payment, after the tuition deposit payment, it would take up to 10 working days and the student will receive an official letter of acceptance. And that's how our admission process works. So after you got accepted, or after a student got accepted in the programs, now you need to deal with the immigration. So student will take the new acceptance letters, the official one, to apply for study permit. And there's 2 pathways, as you know. I didn't write out the other pathway. I just show you SDS, which is known as Student Direct Stream. We can quickly talk about SDS and the regular pathway. So SDS basically are a fast tracking permit processing pathway. So if you apply for a study permit through SDS, you will get a faster processing day. So it's up to 20 days, you'll get your permit if you meet all the requirements, which means the requirement is more, there's more requirements for SDS compared to the regular study permit pathway. So basically you need to have a certain amount of money in a GIC, so which is Canadian dollar 10,000, and you need to have to prove that you have certain level English language skills, which is IELTS score of a minimum of band 6 in each section. And of course, you need to go through medical exam and stuff like that. So there is more requirement in SDS, but there is faster track. So you will get your study permit faster compared to the regular. So the regular, you don't have a lot of requirements. So you don't need to prove English proficiency. You don't need to have a certain saving in your account. But again, that processing will be slower. So it really depends on the situation of the client or the student, whether SDS or regular study permit works better for them. And so other immigration concern. So if you're taking a program, it's in Coast Mountain College, or a student is taking a program in Coast Mountain College. So in order to get a post-graduation work permit after they graduate or after they complete the program, they can do so, they're able to do so if they meet the requirement listed above on the slide. So the program has to be at least 8 months in duration. So if, for example, if you take a 2 years diploma, that will be great. And the program has to be a degree, diploma, or certificate program. It cannot be like the pre-business program that I showed you earlier, because that is not a degree or diploma program. That is an upgrading program. So it's a non-degree or diploma program. So if you're taking pre-business program, you're not able to get post-graduation work permit. And of course, you have to receive a final transcript and official letter of completion from DLI. DLI just means the college. And you have to hold a valid study permit, and you have to maintain your full-time status in Canada. So if you meet all this requirement on listed here, students are eligible to get post-graduation work permit. Another concern is work while studying. Yes, student is able to work full-time. Sorry, pardon me. So 20 hours per week if they're a full-time student, right? And they're able to work full-time off campus during scheduled break if they hold a study permit and the study permit allowed them to do so. So on the study permit, it actually has a comment or remark down there to show whether you're allowed to work off campus or not. And the other thing is spouse open work permit, which some might be applicable for some of the students, especially students with family. So the spouse or common law partner of a study permit holder is able to apply for open work permit if their spouse is a full-time student studying in the college. So because it's an open work permit, which means they don't need to be employed ahead of time. So for example, if I'm an international student, my spouse wants to come to Canada to stay with me and want to work, and I am a full-time student in a DLI like Coast Mountain College, then my spouse is allowed to apply for open work permit during my study in Canada or during my stay in Canada. And of course, the validity of the open spouse work permit will be the same as your study permit. All right, so these are the sum of the support, like the student support we have available on campus. I'm going to quickly show you before we move into Q&A section. So we do have on-campus housing in Terrace and Smither. So the rate is approximately about 500 or 600 per month. It really depends on the room type. And we do have off-campus housing as well. And some of the students, they make friends when they're in Canada. They don't want to live on campus. They want to stay with their friends. That is possible as well. So students can actually rent a room or a house sharing with other students outside of the campus. Or we do have a homestay program as well, which means student is being placed with a local Canadian's family. And this is some picture to show you how our housing actually look like. This is our on-campus housing. And this is the common use student support services. So GuardMe is a health insurance, temporary health insurance for international students. As you know, in BC, most of us are covered by a health insurance plan. So when international students just arrive, they don't have insurance being covered. So the college will purchase a temporary health insurance to cover them until they get the provincial health insurance plan. So this GuardMe fee is actually included in the first semester term, like in their first semester program fee. So they don't need to pay separately. And there is Keep Me Safe program, which is a 24 counseling service, and student can contact Keep Me Safe if they need someone to talk to. And there's multiple language, and data is kept confidential. And of course, we have all other services listed up here as well. All right, so student life. So we do have activities and exciting activities on campus. Of course, not at this point because of COVID-19, but regularly during the regular study term, we do have different programs. Sometimes students will go out for a hike. We do have movie night and a lot of workshop for them as well. Just going to show you some picture here. This is the events that we have. For student life on campus. All right, so the last slide is, before we move on to the Q&A, this is the estimated cost of living or cost of study in Canada. Again, this is estimated. It really based on different programs. So all in Canadian dollars, this is per year. Cost of living in the Northwest region is slightly lower than compared to Vancouver. So housing for a year will be approximately 6,000 in Canadian. Meals, a lot of them cook at home. It will be roughly around 5,400. And international program fee, again, this is estimated again. Usually student would take 10 courses per year. That is about 12,500 per year. And book and supplies is about 2,000. And again, some student might use like used book or old book, then it shouldn't cost so much. But that, again, this is just the estimated. So I would say if you're wondering how much or the expenses, it will be a total 25,900 per year. Again, this is the estimated and might subject to change. All right, so I also posted some updates where you can look for resources due to COVID-19. Just to remind you again before we move on to the Q&A that there's constant update and changes from immigration, provincial, federal, and even Coast Mountain College. I hope that you can refer to our website or relevant link, official website for more updated information. And so I will open the floor for Q&A, and I'll pass the time to Charisma to host the section, actually. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, Jieni. So yes, now we will be answering the questions which we have got from the audience. I will just a quick reminder that if you are having any question, you can put forward in the question section in your control panel. So Jieni, going to the first question, do CMTN provide any scholarships?
Yes, so the college do not provide scholarship for international students. But what we have is we have a list of extended award and bursary for international students, which is not offered by the college, it's offered by other organizations and sometimes from the government. So we do have a list on our website. If you go to student services and financial aid services, you will see the I try to remember the actual name. So the extender rewards or bursary, and that is available for students. So students can actually scroll through and see what kind of scholarship or bursary apply to them.
Okay, thank you, Jieni. Coming to the next question, do CMTN provide foundation programs for maths and English?
So upgrading programs?
Yes.
So we do not offer upgrading programs for international students. So international student will need to meet the entry requirements for the program in order to get into the programs. But we do have, again, the pre-business program, and that is actually a prerequisite program, prepare student for the business program. So in the pre-business program, there is like what you call like the upgrading or foundation program, which is math and English. So if you don't meet either one of this requirement, you can take the pre-business and be ready to get into the main program.
Okay. Thank you, Jieni. The next question is about if the student want to take withdrawal and he is in his domestic country. You want to take withdrawal because of the COVID-19. So what will be the deduction in that case?
Yes, this is a really good question, and we have been constantly having meetings talk about this concern, this topic. At this point, we haven't actually come up with a solid solution yet because the COVID-19 situation is changing right now. But there is a possibility that we will set up a flexibility in terms of refund policy. And at this point, as you know, we only refund the $7,000 tuition deposit if study permit got rejected. But because of this COVID-19, we might, again, it's not confirmed yet, we might be looking into some flexibility in terms of, refund policy due to COVID-19 as well. So please keep checking with us and keep an eye on our refund policy.
Okay, thanks, Jieni. The next question is about the eligibility criteria. Do CMTN accept TOEFL? And if yes, then with how much score?
Yes, so I don't really I don't have the score on my head right now off the top of my head, but it's actually posted on our website. So yes, we do accept IELTS, TOEFL, and a lot other English requirements as well. So if you can go on our website under international section, you can actually find the English proficiency test, like proficient test or proficiency test that we accepted by Coast Mountain College, and it actually will list out all the band score or the score that need for the programs.
Okay, thanks, Jieni. The next question is, do a student need to have, maths to secure admission in applied coastal ecology?
So does the student need to have math, you mean?
Mathematics, yes, in his previous studies to apply in applied coastal ecology program.
So yes, for applied coastal ecology program, which we call ACE as well. So ACE program, you do need to have a minimum of Math 11 as an entry, and of course 2 other science courses from your grade 11 or grade 12, and then an English proficiency.
Okay, Jieni, thank you. The next question is about the entrance scholarships.
Yeah,
Do
so
we offer
yeah, so at this point, again, we don't offer any scholarship for international student, but there is other like extended award and scholarship available out there where student can look for it. And I do know that some of our international students do successfully meet the requirement for the scholarship and got the scholarship from the organization.
Okay, thank you, Jieni. So the next question is, what is the duration of associate degree?
So associate degree is basically under the university credits program. So it's a 2 years associate degree.
Okay, thank you. Do CMTN offer, job placements during studies?
So like co-op, I assume that is kind of like a co-op, like job placement section. So at this point, most of programs do not offer co-op programs, but we do. So if student is wondering about job opportunity as well, so what happened is during like when they're living or studying in the local community, I hardly hear anyone having problem looking for a job while they're studying, and even like finding a job after they're studying. So at this point, for the program itself, we have not actually cooperate, the co-op section in the program, but we are looking to incorporate co-op section in more program moving forward or in the future.
Okay. So the next question is, what is the success of study permit with IELTS 6 no band less than 5.5 for UG and PG?
Say that again.
So what is the success rate for the study permit with IELTS 6 band no band less than 5.5 for UG and PG programs?
I see. So I don't have an answer for that, to be honest with you. It really based on the immigration decision. So all the study permit, so it really depends on the pathway as well. Again, if you're going through the regular study permit pathway, they don't even look at your English proficiency test or anything, right? They just want to make sure you have enough funds to travel to Canada, you have a proper study plan and stuff like that. If you're going through SDS, they will need to see you have enough money in your bank for GIC and and then English requirements and all that. So I don't have an actual number or data for that. And we also see in the past that the approval date is really different and depends on the intake, the programs, and the approval rate actually switch between that as well. So sometimes you will see like a high approval rate for this term and for this program, and for the next term you won't see that, right? So it's really fluctuate.
Okay, thanks, Jieni. What is the refund process for CMTN?
The what, sorry?
Refund process. If student want to apply for a refund, so what is the process for that?
Mm-hmm. So as I mentioned earlier, it's kind of like a similar questions to the previous one. We are currently still working on the refund policy at this point. There's no clear or solid answer or solution I have for you right now. We're looking to have more flexibility in terms of refund, and I guess more flexibility in terms of our admissions process as well. But at this point, nothing is confirmed. Just for information, in Canada right now is pretty challenging for us. A lot of things has been changing right now, and we have been constantly checking in ministry, federal and provincial as well. So we need to keep close contact with them in order to make any changes in terms of our policy, including the refund policy. Yeah.
Okay, thanks. The next question is there any plan for CMTN to start accepting PTE in current situation?
The what, sorry? PTE?
Yes. Is there any plan
Yes.
to start accepting PTE?
So PTE is the English requirement, the English test requirement. So yes, we do accept PTE, and again, it's posted on our website. It's the same page as the TOEFL, IELTS, PTE, and a lot more. I'll encourage you to actually check on our website to see what are all the English requirements, English tests that we accept.
Okay, thank you, Jieni. So how much study gap can CMTN accept for UG and PG programs?
Right, so we don't really have a study gap. Anyone who meet the admission requirements is able or eligible to apply for the programs.
Thank you. And how many backlogs are accepted?
I don't have an answer for that. Basically, we do have students who actually, have not gone to school for 20 years. We do have the student, they will consider them as a matured student, and sometimes they come with family, and they, what I can remember right now, one of them is almost finished, a program. So again, like I don't see any problem having a study gap or backlog or anything like that, as long as they meet the admission requirements and pay the tuition deposit and get into the programs.
Right, Jieni. The next question is regarding the Duolingo. Like, what score CMTN is accepting for Duolingo?
Yeah, so I'm not sure if I can pull out a website here. I don't have the number on my head right now, but let me just quickly have a look while we are going on to the next questions. I don't have let's see here if I can pull out really quickly.
That is okay, Jieni. We will share the details with our agents after the webinar.
Yes, that would be great. That would be great. Yeah, but please keep in mind we do accept Duolingo at this point. Yeah.
So again, there is a question like, what are the facilities CMTN is providing to international students?
Yeah, so we have quite a few of excellent service, I would say, student support services. So one of the service I didn't get to mention on the slide, so which is learning assistance specialists. So they are the trained professional to help with, like, say if you have a problem in like your math or essay writing or editing your paper, they are the on-site advisor or assistant or specialist to help you or to guide you through your program. And again, we do have Keep Me Safe, the counseling 24 hours counseling program in multiple language. If students are feeling that need to talk to someone, and international health programs as well, and also student immigration advising. So we do have trained or regulated a student immigration advisor on campus. If student has any immigration concern about study permit, spouse open work permit, and all that, we do have a staff who are trained to help them on that.
Okay. Jieni, we are having a next question that if someone applies with pre-business and then diploma in business, do students get permit for work?
So yeah, so for pre-business program is again like slightly unique because it's not a program, it's not a diploma or degree program. So for this, student is not able to work off campus for the 4 months when they're in pre-business program, and the study permit would not allow them to do so. So if they move to the main programs, for example, business administration diploma, and they will need to change condition in the study permit. Again, we do have student advisor who help them through the program, how to change the study permit and all that. So once they change the study permit condition and they get the new study permit, then yes, they're able to, work off campus when their new program starts.
Okay, thank you, Jieni. So, how many courses we are offering currently for September 20, and do we have computer science related courses?
So some of the courses, like I'm just gonna quickly, I'm not sure if you can see my slide, but those underlying courses is not offering in September. Sorry, it's not, yeah, so it's not offering in September, but other courses is actually, like program is actually open for September 2020. And what is your last questions again?
It was, I'm sorry, I lost that particular question. Yeah, the question, the next question was about the computer science programs.
Yeah,
So, do
so
we
we
have
don't
any?
have, yeah, so we don't have computer science, specific computing science program. But what the students are doing is they would take associate degree in science and then transfer into a bachelor degree in computing science. And we again, like another programs you might be considered is the certificate for engineering and physical science transfer. So student would take 1 year certificate and transfer to other institution to further study for their computing science.
Okay. So, next question is about again. Do we accept open board or if student has study privately or distance learning, do we accept such kind of studies?
Yeah, so I know that there is a lot of option, like the online study option in India or in their region. So some yes, and some no. So what you can do is I will encourage you to email india@coastmountaincollege.ca or in representative in India. They're able to let you know what are the open learning school that we accept and what is not. And yes, some of them, yes, I would say yes, we do accept the open learning school from India.
Okay. So coming to the next question, is there any minimum percentage requirement to apply in CMTN?
The requirements?
Yes, any minimum percentage requirement that student must have at least, any specific percentage, like 60% in any specific program to apply for the course?
Yeah, so in terms of like passing score or like scoring, so for English requirements, for English proficiency requirement, yes, there is scoring apply. For your grade 12 requirements, like English 12 or whatever, you don't need to show any scoring. It's just as long as you pass, right? So as long as you pass, say like math 11, we'll consider you have math. As long as you have other science, say like biology 11, then we consider it, yeah, then you have a biology.
Okay, Jieni. Jieni, would you like to speak more about how to buy health insurance for new international students when they arrive at Coast Mountain College, and also about MSP and applying for SIN?
Yeah, sure, I'm happy to do that. So MSP, as some of you probably know, so Medical Services Plan is a BC provincial health plan. So everyone live in BC more than 6 months or planning to live in BC more than 6 months, you're required to apply for MSP. But MSP processing time takes up to 3 months. So when students arrive in Coast Mountain College, during orientation, we will make them apply for MSP. And it's just online application. It's pretty easy and straightforward. So while they're waiting for their MSP, they are actually covered by GuardMe. So GuardMe is actually cover the first 4 months, 3 to 4 months during their stay in Canada while they're waiting for their MSP. right? So GuardMe again is a temporary healthcare insurance. So if say like student injured themselves or like hurt like fell or hurt themselves accidentally, they can go to see a doctor or go to a hospital with the GuardMe covered. So which means they don't need to pay out of their pocket. They'll get reimbursed. So GuardMe is actually charged in the first semester tuition fee, which is included in the tuition deposit. So they don't need to pay separately or apply separately. It's already included. So after 3 months, when they receive the MSP, their GuardMe is slowly fading out. So then they will start your GuardMe. So they will need to pay the government monthly, same as everyone, pay the government monthly. At this point for international student, I believe is $75 per month. So once they receive an MSP, they will start paying the government. So it's nothing to do with the college then. I hope that kind of clarified a bit.
Thanks, Jieni, for explaining this particular part. Well, Jieni, I can see that we are having a lot of questions still, but our time is limited and we may not be able to answer all the questions on this webinar. But I would like to remind to our agents that we will be sending you the emails after the webinar responding to all your questions. So, Jieni, is there anything you would like to say before we wrap up?
Yeah, so I'm just gonna say a quick closing remark. Thank you for your time. I'm able to, even though I'm not able to see you, but I hope that all this information will be helpful for you. We are here just to update you what's going on, who we are, and we're still accepting application. And I'm pretty sure there's a lot of questions that not being addressed. I apologize for that. What you can do is please email india@coastmountaincollege.ca if you have further inquiry. They are trained to answer your questions, and we constantly check in with them as well. So make sure you email international@coastmountaincollege.ca if you have any further questions or inquiry. And thank you for your time.
Wonderful. Thank you all valuable agents and friends who participated in this exclusive MSM and CMTN Agent E-Summit. We appreciate you being here. We hope the session was helpful and informative enough for everyone. Until the next one, please take care, stay safe and healthy.